Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 tips to make your landscape photography so much better. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to this channel and you like tutorials on photography, videography, and all that stuff, hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell right there so you can get notifications. What we're talking about is 5 tips to take better landscape photography. So the first one is gear. And tell them to use the 16 to 35
yeah.
for the fisheye. Well, I mean, obviously I'm going to tell them to use a wide angle lens. I mean, you usually use a 16 to 35. I know you know, I just wanted to make sure that you said it. You know what? You want to do it? Fine.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I should.
Yeah. Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Billy. Why do you even wear that jacket, man? Look, watch, look at it, check this out. I got 24, the 104, the fisheye. But so the lens that is used most in landscape photography is the 16 to 35, which I'm using right now. It's got a great view. Some of these were taken with the Canon L series 16 to 35 for Mark II, I believe. And so here's one of the photos right now. So the 16-35 is great, but something that is also really cool is this Canon 15mm fisheye lens right here. And it is great. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up some photos right there. Now, obviously there's some distortion in the corners, and that's fine, but the style works really well in some situations. I'm gonna show you some of this. So we were backpacking through the Yosemite wilderness. We did miles and miles in a few days back there. I actually use the fisheye lens almost as much as the 16mm, and here's some shots that you can look at. It's more stylistic. It doesn't always work as well for professional photography. So moving on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is really making sure that you take your photos at the right time of day. I'm sure you've heard it before, the golden hour. Now the golden hour is about the hour after sunrise and the hour before sunset, and it's just because it's even, it's beautiful, and a lot of times there's a great sunrise or sunset with beautiful colors. Now it's really important to be patient and to wait for these times, because you're gonna get the best out of the landscape. It's just gonna look so much better. You got your 16 to 35 or your fisheye, and you're sitting there and golden hour rolls up, and now you got a beautiful shot. Next thing we're gonna talk about is ISO, the sensitivity of the sensor to light. The lower the ISO, the better. You want to be at your native ISO, because then there's not any distortion whatsoever. There's no noise. The farther away you stray from the lower ISOs, the less dynamic range you have and the less sharpness you have. So you want to make sure that you're at the native ISO, and you don't want to bump it up too high. The tip number 4 that I wanted to talk about is aperture, your f-stop. Now, if you have a low f-stop, you're gonna have a shallow depth of field, and that's just not gonna work if you're trying to get the whole landscape in focus. So you wanna be upwards of between 9 and 16, f9 and 16, so that everything is in focus and that you get the crispest, sharpest photo with everything clear. And that's really important, to have a higher f-stop. Now you don't wanna go to the top range of your f-stop, because then you also lose some quality. So you wanna find a high f-stop where everything looks great. I usually do it between 9 and 16, and that works for me. So next, composition. Composition is extremely important, and there's a few ways to go about getting a good composition. The first is the rule of thirds. Now the rule of thirds divides your screen into sections, and a lot of times the object or the interesting part of the photo is at the crosshairs of one of these sections. I'm going to throw an overlay up right now, and you can see there right there. I'm going to show you one of my photos here, and you can see that I use the rule of thirds to balance this photo well. It's in the crosshairs, it looks great, it's a balanced photo. So I have a bonus tip for y'all, and that is try to travel to interesting places. You don't have to have a lot of money, you don't have to have so much time to plan. You just need to make sure that you get out there and you see cool places. If you're a landscape photographer and you're not visiting new places, then you're just not living up to your potential. So make sure you go out there and you explore and you create, and you just become inspired by nature and just become inspired to create something new, because your photos are going to inspire other people. What you put out there and the inspiration you put out there and the love that you put out there comes back to you. So make sure that you're very mindful about what you're doing. So just make sure that you get out there and you do stuff. You don't have to go to Yosemite to create something amazing. There's every state has incredible things within a few hours of it. Just go explore. So please, everybody, create. Please create. Peace.